Have you ever stopped to think what might happen if something as horrible as a rocket hit the tomb of Jesus during a war? Most people would expect everything to break, to fall apart, to be ruined forever. But what if, instead of damage, something holy happened, instead something no one could explain? Something that didn't bring more fear, but brought calm, something that made even the loudest weapons go quiet? This is what happened during one of the scariest moments in the war between Israel and Iran. Everyone was watching, thinking that something terrible would happen. But what came instead was something full of light and peace, something that reminded everyone that even in the middle of a war, heaven still watches over the world. To ensure that as many people as possible see this video, kindly take a moment to share this video and subscribe to this channel. May this message touch your heart and help to bring you close to the conversation of souls and the conversion of sinners. If you believe so, please type Amen. The war between Israel and Iran had become very serious and very scary. Every day, people were waking up to the sound of bombs and sirens, and every night they were going to sleep not knowing if they would see the morning again. Families were running from their homes, buildings were falling down, and the streets were full of sadness and fear. The air felt heavy with sorrow, and many people had lost hope. There was so much pain everywhere that it was hard to imagine peace ever coming back. In the middle of all this, there was one place that people from all over the world still looked to with faith and love. That place was the tomb of Jesus in Jerusalem. For many years, this tomb had stood quietly, offering peace and comfort to people from every country and every walk of life. It was more than just a place. It was a sign of hope. It reminded people that no matter how dark things got, there was still something holy in the world, something that could not be destroyed. But now, even this sacred place was in danger. A rocket had been fired during one of the worst days of the fighting, and it was heading very close to the tomb. People everywhere held their breath, afraid that this special place would be hit, afraid that it might disappear in the middle of all the violence. But what happened next surprised everyone. Instead of fire and destruction, something else came from the tomb. It was a light, a soft, warm light that slowly began to shine from the place where Jesus had once been laid to rest. The light did not explode like a bomb. It rose gently, like the morning sun, and it spread out over the area. The streets, which just moments before had been full of loud noises and running feet, started to grow quiet. The shouting stopped, the guns stopped. The air, which had been filled with smoke and fear, now felt calm. Even the wind slowed down. The light was not bright in a way that hurt the eyes, but it was strong in a different way. It was strong because it brought peace. It made people stop and listen. It made them feel something deep inside their hearts that they had not felt in a long time. People who had been running stopped to look. Soldiers who had been ready to fire their weapons lowered them. Something sacred was happening, and it felt like the world had paused for just a moment to see it. People who were there could hardly explain what they saw, but they would never forget it. Some of them cried, not from fear, but from something softer, something that felt like peace, like healing. They felt safe, even though they were still in the middle of a war. For that short time, the darkness that had covered everything seemed to fade. The light from the tomb didn't say anything with words, but everyone understood the message. It was a message of love, of calm, and of hope. It reminded everyone that even in the worst times, even when it feels like there is no way out, something good can still happen. Some people began to believe that this was a miracle. They started to talk quietly to each other, passing along the story of what they saw. They told their families. They told their friends. And as the story spread, it began to change people. Not just those who were there, but people far away who only heard about it. The story of the light at the tomb of Jesus touched hearts in a way that no speech or plan ever could. Even leaders, the ones who usually only talked about war, began to think differently. They started to wonder if maybe peace was possible after all. People who had been full of anger and pain started to feel something new, a small hope growing inside them. The light didn't stop the war right away. Bombs still fell. Soldiers still marched. But something had shifted. People had seen a glimpse of something better. They had been reminded that life could be different. That war didn't have to be the only way. The tomb had always been a symbol of new life, and now it was showing that message again, not with words, but with light. And that light had entered the hearts of people all across the land. As time passed, more and more people began to talk about that day. It became a story that traveled far and wide. Different countries, different religions, different languages. Everyone wanted to know what had happened. Some people who had never cared about faith before started to wonder if maybe there really was something more to believe in. The light had awakened something deep in the hearts of many. They began to hope for peace, and even more than that, they began to work for it. They spoke to others with more kindness. They prayed again. They made new choices in their lives, choosing forgiveness over anger, calm over shouting, and hope over fear. The war was still there, but now it didn't seem as strong as before. Something stronger had appeared, something made of love. The light from the tomb became a sign that would never be forgotten. It was like a soft voice from heaven reminding the world that even in the darkest night, a new dawn is always possible. The ground where Jesus had been laid to rest, the same place that had once held sorrow and pain, had now become a place of new peace. People remembered it not just as a tomb, but as a starting point for healing. And the message stayed with them, that light can always shine again, and that even when everything seems lost, there's always a reason to keep hoping. This story, born in a time of war, will be told for many years to come, because it reminds us all that love is stronger than hate and that light will always return. Thank you for watching till the end of our video. Our brothers and sisters, without fear and with more faith than in the past, let us continue in faith. Stay blessed and continue to pray for God to show all of us His grace and blessings. God bless us and protect us. Amen.